Everyone, and
Now you can do it.
welcome. There we are. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the weekly dust up. That is the Studio Rats number 157. Like a maximum break in snooker after a few fouls occurred on the blue. There we are, one for our international brethren. I'm not James Ivy. Greg here from Adventures in Gearland, filling in while our erstwhile colleague is previously disposed behind his tubs. And this is Mr. Paul Drew. How are you, sir?
Howdy doody. You all right? Everything
Yeah,
good?
all good, thank you, mate. All good. I think we should
Good.
go away
It's
as
like
as, as
Baldy's.
we as we normally do. It is Baldy Union today, isn't it? There we are.
It's Baldy's take over the internet.
That's it. Um,
Which is,
well, I believe the phrase he uses is, "As is tradition, let me ask you, what have you been up to, me old mate?"
there are a couple of product releases
Oh,
coming out
really?
this week. One's
You
coming
could
out
tell us, but
tomorrow.
you'd have to kill us, so we'll have to wait until tomorrow, will
That's
we?
what I think. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about this job, and I love doing it, and I love being privy to new bits of gear that come out. But you have to sign an NDA, which is a
Yeah.
non-disclosure agreement. So if you talk about something before it comes out, I don't know what they do. I don't know if actually anyone's ever been properly done
Yeah.
by releasing, by talking about some music gear. It's probably not worth them chasing it, but yeah, I mean, there's so many people do it. So many people
Mm.
just like end up talking about gear before it comes out because they want to get the
Yeah.
scoop on it.
We were on the phone a few months back, and it might even have been Tonex, but somebody
Right.
released something like 15 minutes before D-Day, as it were, and
Yeah.
you were livid.
Oh, I know that was Tone Junkie.
Was it?
Tone
Oh,
Junkie. Yeah, yeah, I saw that fly.
God, yeah. You've
Yeah,
got me
do you
back
know
here.
Tone Junkie does like
You've got me
he does like
executioner. I'm going to destroy it if it gets within range.
this.
I was trying to
Mate,
get it
it's
earlier. It was
Wimbledon,
annoying me. Yeah, exactly.
and
Exactly. I might get a late
it's
polo.
Wimbledon. Like,
I've lost it. Here we are. Yeah, Tone Junkie did you, did he?
yeah, it's just like, come on, you play by the rules. It's like it really annoys me when people do that because
Mm.
it's almost like well, it's not playing ball, and so a lot of companies now, if you do that, they'll just go, well, we're not going to use you again.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the
Um,
thing, isn't it? Is it
but
is it
he
really
wasn't
worth
punished.
burning your bridges for the sake of a few extra views on that one product?
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. But no. He's still being used by the companies. He's still still part
Yeah,
of gear
yeah.
releases by the
Slap
company.
on the wrists and
Anyway,
away he goes.
yeah. What else have I been doing?
There was some acoustic guitar
Oh
player. It sounded like acoustic guitar playing when I hopped on here a few minutes ago. Was that a project in motion, as it were, or
no,
were
I
you
think I
just
was watching
listening
a
to
video.
something? No, right, fair enough.
Yeah, I was watching something. Hey, but I've got a couple of guitars up for sale,
Oh, really? Should we do that
and
now, or should that be part of the news and give everybody else a chance to
no,
get
no,
in
no,
here?
no, no. It's fine. It's fine. Sort of. We don't really need to talk about it, but it's. But I will tell you, like a couple of guys came round over the weekend
All right.
because I don't mind when I'm selling guitars. For me,
Mm.
um, for me, I don't mind if it's if I get paid in cash or I get paid in gear because it's all good for the
Mm.
channel. I
Sure,
get another
sure.
guitar in, I can review that, and it's great.
Mm.
Or I can use it in a video, whatever. And so I was selling my master built Strat, and the guy came round
Is that
with
the pink one?
sorry, no, not my master built Telecaster,
Right. Yep, yep, yep.
green one.
Mhm.
And a guy contacted me and he said, "Oh, I'll come over. I've got a couple of guitars to bring over." So he brought over a custom shop Telecaster.
Right.
Telecaster custom, so it had a humbucker in the neck,
Okay. Yeah.
and right. So and he brought that over, and he had a Mary Kay as well.
Oh, right.
And I thought, oh, it's got a Mary Kay. So this custom shop Mary Kay, that's okay. So he said, what we'll do is we'll swap. Oh, we came up with some sort of deal. So he was going to give me 2 guitars for my
For your
master
one.
built, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that work out. It'll work out about the same. I could do a video on both, sell
Mhm.
both if I need to, keep one if I don't.
Yeah.
The custom shop came over, And I'm not sure whether it was legit or not. It had a certificate and
Really?
it had all the bits. Yeah, it's like the let me grab a telly. Here we go. I don't know if this is going to come in. If I do this, right, this part of the scratch plate literally had like a massive gap on it, like the scratch plate did that, and I thought that's not right for a custom shop. And what was the other thing? And yeah, it was a no-caster.
Okay.
So it had flathead screws on it, and I'm looking at this going, that doesn't look right. It's got flathead screws on it, and I know some no-casters do have flathead screws, but it looked there was something that wasn't right about it.
Yeah.
And then the Mary Kay, he brought over all the documents. It's supposed to be a nitrocellulose finish and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It wasn't at all. It was just like it was a poly finish. So I was just like, you know, and it was almost like, well, I don't play guitar. I'm like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But anyway, no, he was a nice guy. It was. I mean, I'm sure he didn't know the stuff, but it seemed a bit dodgy. And the other guy came over for the other guitar. He came over a couple of hours later.
Which other one are you flogging?
The Maybach.
Oh, right.
So I'm gonna there's a whole story about that, but I can talk about that later. But so he said, he contacted me. He said, like, I've got a couple of guitars. I've got a Fender FSR.
Well, the internet. I've got the spin. Oh, he's back. You had spinny circle of doom for a moment there. I was going to
sorry,
just
mate.
waffle intermittently until you returned, but now you're crystal clear again. Anyway, the Maybach. He came around.
Yeah, he came around with a Anderton's Fender FSR.
Oh, right. What do they go for? Are they about 900 quid a throw or 1100? I can't remember.
I think they're about 1100 quid. But you know the Danish peak one. So it was a purple strap, and it's called a mischief maker.
Yeah,
so it had the telly neck.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? That's great. That's right up my street. Even though it's a Mexican guitar, that's right up my street. And the telly
it's a lot
neck.
of money for a Mexican, isn't
it? Yeah. So this guitar came round.
Yeah.
Right. The action was like literally the neck was like that. So I was like, okay, let's get the neck off and let's straighten the neck for you. Let's see if it's because it's unplayable.
Okay.
Got the neck off. It was like,
Jesus.
Because it's an old, it's the old vintage design, so you've got to take the neck off to adjust truss rod. Turn like the truss rod was absolutely wedged, so it was at its maximum position, and the neck was like literally doing that.
Wow.
So
they've not been out that long, have they?
No, mate. So this is my thing. So I said, look, mate, this is your neck's knackered. You need to we need to get in contact with Fender or Anderton's. So anyway, he's contacted Fender and he's contacted Anderton. Both of them are basically telling him no. Both of them. So Fender is saying deal with Anderton's. Anderton is saying deal with Fender.
Yeah, of course.
How that just makes me so mad. That makes me so mad because it's an Anderton's guitar. First of all, it's an Anderton piece guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, it just made me so mad that they wouldn't just go, look, we're going to deal with it.
What age is it as far as his ownership? Because surely it's like any other product.
He didn't buy it new. Apparently, again, another guy that didn't play. But
it's strange, isn't it?
It is strange, isn't it? So it almost makes me think that. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But so what was my point? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't to me. It doesn't matter if he's the owner, if he bought it from Anderton's or not. That guitar was definitely bought from Anderton's because it was an Anderton special.
Yeah. It's the only place you can get them.
To me, absolutely. To me, Anderton should have dealt with that. Said, yeah, no problem at all. We'll deal with that. It doesn't matter. Or Fender. It should just be an easy thing. It should be an easy thing. Yeah. Fender goes, right, okay, here's another neck. We're going to send you a new neck because it's only a couple of years old. It's different if it's 50 years old. But sure. Maximum of 3 years old. I'm guessing.
I don't even think they've been out that long, mate. I think that
Really,
special run with the Mischief Maker is less than a year. I'm going to see if I can
and
find
yeah,
it.
well, they're still selling them. They've still got
Yeah.
one at Anderton's, and it was nice as
Um,
well. It's a nice looking guitar.
yeah, it is a pleasant thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mischief. Oh, I can't spell mischief. Hang on.
But I just think, for me, Anderton's customer service, not dealing with that straight away is absolutely shocking.
Oh, in fairness, 2 years old. Could this be the best limited edition Fender? God, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? 2 years and the next done for. Again, if you've spent 1,100 quid or whatever on a Mexi and it's lasted 2 years, you live it, aren't you? We've got a
Yeah,
second-hand American.
yeah. But even so, things do go wrong. I mean, I know Fender's quality control at the moment is right down the end of the, right. No one's got a good thing to say about Fender's quality control.
Mm.
But Anderton should have dealt with that.
Yeah, that's low grade, isn't it? It's low grade.
I think that's really bad.
Yeah. Related
So,
to Gibson's quality control, I just found a 200 quid getting a 335 that was bought from a well-known music store in southeast London area. Getting it fixed by Steve at Guitar Lodge, and he's fixing things that the plecking machine got wrong at Gibson. It's just astounding. Anyway, more of that another day.
well,
We've digressed somewhere, haven't we? You were talking about trying to flog your Maybach, and this FSR is
yeah. So he was going to give me the FSR and a Squire Classic 50s Classic Vibe, which was actually really good guitar. So I was going to do that, do a video on it, flog the, do a couple of videos on the Mischief Maker, and then But anyway, so
but that
go on.
doesn't sound like either of those guitars are anywhere near that Maybach, though. I thought that felt great. I know there were things that you didn't like about it, but acoustically, it rang like Billy O. It felt like a really
No,
nice
it's great.
guitar.
Yeah, it's great. It's just not for me. It's definitely not for me. So I've been sent these pickups by Sunbear.
Sunbears, yeah.
Which
so you're going to chuck them in the guitar anyway, just in case. See if it.
No, because I'm not. The Maybach for me is. I'm not. I'm just going to leave it as it is, because I think if I start getting into changing the pickups, changing all the hardware on it, for me it's not going to be a keeper. I'm going to have to buy a new neck for it, because I don't like the neck on it. The neck's great. It's great. It's just it's a 7.25 profile. I can play it. I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
So I can go and buy a new neck for it. It's going to cost, say I go and get like a Mexican Fender neck or something. It's going to cost 300 quid. Do you see what I mean? Or if I get this one reprofiled and refretted, it's going to cost 400 quid.
Yeah. It becomes a bit of a money pit, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I thought, great. I'll put the pickups in something else. So what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to put them in my custom shop, Fender, in my Strat.
The blue one.
Yes, the blue one. But I really like the pickups on that. But I'm quite excited to try these. So yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Yeah.
What
have you been up to?
I've been editing like Billy O, and it feels like I've been running in treacle. It's ridiculous. I started this morning at about 5:15, and in amongst getting the kids to school and getting back and sticking the washing out, bringing it in because it rained, and then going back out and getting the kids back, I'm still not there. But I mean, it's quite a long video though. In relative terms, it's pushing 20 minutes. So
video on?
This is a comparison between the blues driver that's housed within the katana, or the physical standalone pedal, and doing a couple of bits there. There's some lovely sounds from both, to be honest. But I've just been screaming at Da Vinci Mustard today. What else? Still kind of, I feel human again now after Bournemouth. I spoke to James earlier today and yesterday actually when I came back from a rehearsal in Cambridge, and the pair of us said last week was basically a write-off because just absolute exhaustion from the madness that is the cheerleading event that we do in Bournemouth every year. So yeah, nice to be back kind of on my feet there. As I say, I was in Cambridge yesterday. We did a rehearsal without the drummer. So bass, 2 guitars, 3 vocals, just trying to hone the structure of the song and some backing vocals, amongst other things. And that was just a really enjoyable 2 hours of good creative musicianship.
Oh, mate, it's
And
always better with that. It's
it's
always
better than
way
the
more
drummer.
fun
Yeah, yeah.
with
I did it.
a
I
drummer.
even thought about taking like a little machine that would just do loops or something, just so we could have the drums anyway. But I thought, nah, let's have a
Do
full
that,
week
yeah.
without. But the other wonderful element of that rehearsal, and I mentioned this to Paul before we went live, is that I was playing through um, an Alan Seeley made Tweed Deluxe, the 16 watts and 12-inch Celestian Alnico Blue, and it is astonishing. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing. 4 inputs, normal and bright, 2 volume controls, 1 tone control, on and off. That's your lot. What more do you need? Think
And
of a Mesa Boogie tri-axis or whatever with a million switches and knobs, and Leo got it right all the way back there. It's just
did
wonderful,
you
that thing.
did you jump it? Did you jump it, or did you just go
No,
into
no, just
control?
going straight in. It was
Oh,
just
you got to jump it. Has it
great.
got the mic input as well on it?
It's got two normal, 2 bright, so I can do both. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but you should have. And hasn't it got like a normal and then a mic input control as well?
there's the
From I
2
think.
separate volume controls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So one
yeah,
for
yeah.
normal, one for bright channel, and even without jumping, you still get variations just by changing the other volume control, as it were. It's
Ah,
yeah, I'm just finding my feet. It's the first time I've ever had access to a Tweed Deluxe before, and
with no reverb.
yeah, no reverb. So I'm just hitting the front of it with Flashback X4 and Big Sky. But just
Nice.
yeah, it's gorgeous, gorgeous thing. I'm really fizzy about that
The only thing that I can see being a problem is I think you had a good time because you weren't playing with the drummer.
with the drummer. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
maybe
once
that's
the
part
drummer
of it.
comes in, you're gonna have to turn that up to a level where you can't put
Yeah,
reverbs in the front end. Possibly.
possibly. Yeah, it is possible, isn't it?
See what
Maybe
happens.
yeah. Maybe I could do if I use the 2 notes, I could put that between the Tweed and the speaker and take the signal out of that and go into the delay and reverb and send that to the PA. And then I could still drown out the drummer and also not have to go delay in the front of the amp.
Yeah, yeah. Or
I think the key is just drown out the drummer, right?
yeah, drummer. Drummers.
I'm
Anyway,
I'm
should we
I'm
go?
glad
Should
we're
we go on with
getting yeah,
questions?
we should, but I'm glad that we're having a good old get the boot in on the drum as well. He's not here, but there we go. Right, you
Ah,
drive, I'll read. How's that? Okay,
done.
Nabil, how are you? Good evening. Hello, musical rat. Snabs here. Have you tried Fender Pro 2 with the V Mod 2 pickups, or is that 5 Mod 2 pickups?
And that's
Is that
B
supposed to
mod,
be
yeah.
flat? Yeah, V mod. I'm thinking of getting the Hum single since I don't like the bridge pup. What say you? And thanks. I haven't tried a Fender Pro 2. My best man and the singer in the band that I was just waffling on about's got a Telly Fender Pro 2, but never tried the Strat. Have you?
I'm sure I have. I'm sure I have. I mean, the V mod pickups are really good, without a
Right.
doubt. They're really good. The only thing for me, I mean, you've got to. I would really try out the. The only thing that bothers me is the humbucker in the bridge on a Strat.
Hmm.
Still don't think it works. I mean, I've had a few of them,
Yeah.
and it always lacks something. I think like having having that because you can't compensate. You're trying to compensate for one pickup over the other pickup over single coils and humbuckers. That's why I think a Les Paul really works.
Yeah.
That's why I think a P90 Les Paul is way better than a twin humbucker Les Paul, and that's why I think single coils work. I'm not a massive mixing up the different pickups.
Yeah.
Type of guy.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the new Pete Thorne model then, because that's what he's done, isn't it?
I'm sure if Pete Thorne's got anything to do with it, and John Suhr got anything to do with it, I'm sure they've got it sorted. But even with
I still think they should get your opinion by sending you one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, a couple.
Yeah, one for me, one for thee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think. I mean, I really get it. I mean, I've had quite a few Strats and Strat type guitars with humbucker, and I've even had a Suhr with humbucker and 2 single coils, and that was the best one by far. That flies back, mate.
That's a different one. Blooming. This is the problem with living next to a farmer's field. You see, they love it. They absolutely love it. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've had a Suhr, I've had Fenders that all do it, and they're all good. I think the Suhr Pete Thorne works really well with the 2 humbuckers.
Yeah.
That works really well. And I think PRSs work really well when you can split them because PRS do something quite clever. But I'm more a straight, and I don't know, I'm looking around, I'm more sort of straight. If the guitar's got humbuckers, it's got humbuckers. If the guitar's got P90s, it's got P90s.
Yeah. I've got a Pointy Jackson upstairs, which is humbucker, single coil humbucker, classic 80s. It's a Dinky Junior, all black, reverse headstock, proper rock machine, metal machine. Other than that, every guitar that I own is as it should be. It's all the right flavors, no mixing the streams. Yeah, I'm with you.
The only one that I think works really well with the humbucker single is EMGs. So I think that really works. They sounded really good because they're really balanced pickups.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all opinion. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be great, Nebs. So let us know what you do.
Give it a go. What I would say, where's your nearest music store? Actually get in and try one rather than get it delivered all the way home and then go, I don't fancy it actually.
But the things with modern wiring, with the modern sort of Strat wiring, just wind back the tone control, the bottom tone control on the bridge Strat pickup, and it's great. It's great. Yeah. Yes, the tone control on the Strat wound up is too much. It's too bright. Yeah. Wind it back to 8, 7, 8, and it's great.
Golden. Yeah. There we are. Right. Next up, I haven't got one to hand, but
sorry, you're
driving. I'm talking. Good evening, David McQuillan. David runs the Highland Plectrum Company. Please look for him on Reverb. His wares are tremendous. You should all own one or more of his wonderful plectrums. There's the weekly advert, Dave. Right, not guitar related, but hope you don't mind if I share a frustrating story with a happy ending. Ordered my car on the 7th of January 22. I'm assuming that, dear American viewer, that given Dave is in Scotland, that he's doing it this way rather than your way. So we're going to say 7th of January 22. It finally arrived 8 months later, and he continues.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm not used to driving.
I can't do it from this end, which is why you're stuck with it. 3 days later, 10th of September, I was rear-ended by some tourist. Not like that. Let's keep it out the gutter. Due to the world shortage of car spares, after over 10 months in the body shop, I finally got the call to collect it tomorrow. Good Lord. Yeah. So you were expecting a car. Ordered the car on the 1st of January, and you've had it for 3 days in the last 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months. Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? I would like to say that Dave's No. Go on. Okay. Awesome. Well done, Dave. That's
drive careful when you finally get the blooming thing back, mate.
Yes. Yeah, well done, mate. Scent of a wheelchair pillow.
Hey guys, looking at making some guitar videos for friends and family, documenting progress, etc. Any tips for sound, wall, floor treatment to improve quality? Hardwood floors, semi-bare walls in here. First up, centre of a wheelchair pillow. Have you paid your fines for moonlighting on the That Pedal Show Q&A on Monday?
Does he go on there as well? He goes on all of them, and I wonder what he does
Disgraceful.
during the week. He's always on Philip McKnight's
Right. Yeah.
live show as well. But you
Yeah.
know, we feel very, very privileged to have you with us as well.
I would, well, for what it's worth, I would suggest close mic in your. I'm assuming electric rather than acoustic, but yeah, close mic the speaker. Something in the room for ambience, and not necessarily worry about the treatment per se. That's going to be the cheapest way to market, as it were. If you're a bit cute with your mixing, you should be okay, unless there's some horrible standing wave or whatever.
You're exactly right, mate. The closer you get, I mean, if we're just talking about guitar cabs, the closer you get, better, the least amount of reflection off of anything else you're going to get. So stick a 57. Don't use a figure of 8 microphone. If your room's not great, don't use a figure of 8 microphone, because it picks up from both sides. That's in the figure of 8. It picks up both sides of the mic. So ribbons and stuff you might want to avoid. Just get a 57, stick it in front of the speaker, and you'll be fine. Just as you know, we talked about in various videos and stuff, just move it away from the middle of the cone, so it's more in between the cone, the center of the cone, the dust cap, and the speaker, and you'll be great. If you're talking about if you're talking over it, that's a completely different story. So I would recommend, if you're talking over it, get something like an SM7, and you can use that again for your guitar cab as well.
Right.
Because with an SM7, you have to get quite close to it.
Right.
And I'll show you what the difference is. I mean, I'm using a rifle mic, but if you hear me like this, you can hear the room.
Yeah.
You can hear the room, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you hear me like this, you can't hear the room.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But yeah, an SM7, if you are doing any vocals on it, just, or any VO stuff, just get it as close to your gob as possible.
Here we are. Do friends and family need to see the amplifier again, assuming it's electric, based on the picture on your handle there? If it's not going to be in shot, just put your clothes horse around it and put a duvet around it. If the room is terrible and you want to try and keep as much out of the equation as possible, nicely close mic that around it as well. If it's not on screen, it doesn't have to look pretty. That'll help.
It will help a lot.
And again, you're not spending any money there. You're just using things that are knocking about the house.
Absolutely.
Spot the title as Northerner. Hang on. Which way are we going?
Before we do anything, we've got to say thank you, David.
Oh, hang on.
That's very nice, mate. Thank you so much. By the way, we should say this. So we've been saying this for the last sort of 3 weeks or so. YouTube are really hammering the smaller YouTube channel. So it really, really, really helps if you can give us a like. Smaller. There we go. Look.
I'm pressing the wrong button. Right, here we go.
Where is it? You can't see.
I've just liked it.
He's giving us a like. Look at that.
This is all getting a bit meta now, isn't it? I'm there and I'm here and you're there and
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it really does help if you give us a like, because YouTube at the moment, like literally, views have gone down by half.
Is it that bad?
But thank you, David. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But thank you, David. That's really kind of you, mate. Where are we? There we go.
Still Hollywood. The coolest band name ever, I think. I think that's marvellous. Yeah. Hi all. I know not cool to talk about other channels. Well, we've just been doing it, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, do it,
but a channel I watch on and off is Tone Junkie TV. Do you watch them?
No, because he broke the NDA.
There we
No,
are.
I'm joking. No, I do. I've got nothing against it. He's great. I quite like his stuff.
Fair enough. Today on my way home, he posted a chat with, is that Michael Britt?
Michael Brett, yeah.
Yeah. I think the Kemper Profile guy. There's another one following, also from Hollywood.
Is there?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. This is gonna be a shambles, isn't it?
Only listened to half so far, but at the start he talks about buying a Strat, which was too good to pass on. Made in Japan, 95 with ceramic pickups. He goes on.
No.
I said a lot of his guitars seem to have ceramic, and he's moving away from Alnico is best. All depends on what works and sounds great with the guitar. I absolutely agree. And
So,
what sounds like music to your ears as well?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, definitely just try a bunch of different pickups. What was Michael Britt was in a band who did Amazed? Wasn't he in that band? He's basically in a massive country band in the US. Do you remember that song Amazed? Was it Amazed by You?
Yeah, I do.
Horrible song.
Yeah, I
Horrible
used
song.
to have to play it on the function circuit a lot, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Ugh, yeah,
Horrible.
I'm getting cold shivers thinking about that.
You know, we're
But
gonna
hey, I wouldn't mind
because
being a penny behind him though.
absolutely, but because we've got quite a large American audience, I imagine we're going to get slated for that comment, or I'm going to get slated
There we
for that
are.
comment.
There we are. Have you had any
Um,
experience with Japanese built Strats?
yeah, lots.
Mhm.
I've never owned one, but I mean, I used to work in a shop back in the 90s where the majority of the Strats they had were Japanese
Really?
ones.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that sort of era.
Mm.
Yeah, to be honest, I never really found one that I liked. There were, so at the time you could either get a made in Japan Strat or you
Mhm.
could get a standard Strat, like an American standard.
Yeah.
And the American standards were, to me, were so much better than the Japanese ones
Mhm.
at the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, but yeah, no, great. I mean, you know, if you find a good guitar, it doesn't matter if it's a Squire, if it's a
Exactly.
whatever it is. If it's a
Yeah.
good guitar, it's a good guitar.
I'm pretty sure I've told this tale before, but Jay Stapley, the guitarist who replaced Eric Clapton in Roger Waters' band in the 80s, plays a Japanese Strat and has done for decades. He played it on the premiere of Tubular Bells 2 up in Edinburgh Castle. It's been all around the world, stadium gigs. It's his go-to, and it's just a Jap Strat.
Did
Sorry, I
you
should
say
say
Eric Clapton?
Japanese. He
Did
replaced
you
Eric
say Eric
Clapton.
Clapton in Roger Waters' band? Eric Clapton played in Roger Waters' band.
Years and years ago, it was in the 80s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it obviously didn't go too well because Jay replaced him, but there
Yeah.
we are.
Okay, we've had another couple of
Yes.
send of a
Wheelchair
wheelchair,
pillow.
please.
Oh,
Thank
God,
you, sir.
that's
So
hard,
this is
isn't it?
what we do on the channel and on the live show. If someone sends in a super chat like this, they have to come first because they've been generous enough to give a super chat. Doesn't mean you have to give a super chat because we'll try and get through all the questions as we do, but we just to say thank you, we go to that question next. Send up a wheelchair pillow. He says, thanks for the tips, guys. By the way, I may be a guitar YouTube whore, but my affection is genuine for all the channels I frequent, especially yours. Thanks, mate.
Good man.
No, absolutely. That's you know,
Yeah.
just go on as many as possible. I think Philip McKnight's show is great. I love it.
Mm, mm.
That's and he hasn't done one for ages. I don't know what's going on because I run to it. That's my I love it
Yeah.
because he's so knowledgeable. He's brilliant.
I think we should
And
direct people to John Cordy as well because he is fast becoming top 3, top 5 shows that I'm watching, and he spits videos
yeah,
out about as often as I eat. It's amazing.
yeah, he's very prolific and he's
Mm,
fantastic guitar player.
yeah.
Also, David, thank you, David. That's really kind, mate. He's hit the like button, chaps. Keep it up. Thanks, David. That's really good of you, mate.
Cheers, Dave.
Where
Right, where are we up to?
do we go? Mississippi.
Right, evening rats and all. Been playing with the Boss DM101 delay pedal. Ooh, awesome
Nice.
delay. Paul, will you be reviewing it?
No,
Well batted for getting one so soon, Mississippi.
yeah.
And why haven't they sent you one, Paul?
I don't know actually. I mean, I'm doing something. So there's a release tomorrow for Boss that I'm doing.
Oh, what could it be?
But no, not the DM101. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's great. I mean, what a great idea for a
Sounds
pedal.
astonishing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I think I think that'll be a future classic, that pedal.
I mean, it wants to be at under 500 quid, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
yeah, I had the rare pleasure of being able to watch that pedal show on the living room TV last Friday, and house to myself, thought, right, what can I do? I put more guitar porn on, obviously, and yeah, got the full effect. It really made me think: should I be kicking the TC off the board and going down that route? I was
Nice.
tremendously impressed with it.
Yeah,
Here we are.
nice. Yeah, so no plans to review it as yet, but I would like
Open
to.
to offers.
I'll check on that. Yeah. Jeff Cook.
Jeff, good morning from Briz Vegas. Hope everyone's well and that they don't wander up the pitch when the ball's still in play. Oh, Jeff, don't mate. Oh, good lord. I was there last Wednesday. The reason I wasn't able to fill in James' absence last week is because I was at Lord's. And even then, I had a bad feeling on the first day, just as a result of how insipidly badly England bowled. But yeah, the ginger lost his head, didn't he, and walked up the wicket instead of making sure that the ball was dead. Anyway, I've bored Paul enough with sport ball talk.
No, I quite like cricket. Anyway, I like playing it. I'm not into watching it.
Yeah.
Ned.
Evening, Ned. How you getting on? Hello, everyone. Anything cool in the great news or artist news?
There's not. There's literally two. There's two bits of news that I thought was worthy this week.
Not
and
a
that's
lot,
it.
is there? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see much of anything. I did see, God, I can't remember his name, blanking. He's a Music Man artist who plays the Queen tribute show. God, what's he called? Big tall bloke, same kind of hairdo as us.
Oh, you mean
something
English?
Anderson? Yeah.
No, oh no, that's going to annoy me now.
It's annoying me as well. Anyway, he's got a stunning new Music Man that's in the same purple finish as the velvet inside the case they sent it to him. And I thought, is that worthy of the news? But then it's basically just a guitar in a case. But yeah, that might be worth looking at if you're desperate.
And if you can dig that out, I've forgotten his name. What's his name?
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah, he normally does. He used to work for Guitarist magazine or Guitar Player or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the name will come to me in a minute. Anyway, will you find that and I'll do the next question?
Yeah,
how's that?
you carry on. There we go.
Mendel, how you doing, mate? He says evening all. Evening both from David. Evening, David.
David.
Funky Bass, evening Rats, evening Funky. Nectarius says, good evening from Greece, gents. Hand on heart, would you use modelers, plugins, or solid state amps over tube amps if you had at any time had the opportunity to use the latter, live or for recordings? Oh, let me get this question again.
I'd say no. I'd go with an amp every time.
Would you use modelers, plugins, or solid state amps over tube amps? No, I would use modelers. I wouldn't use plugins. Solid state amps. The only solid state amp that I've got and probably would use would be a Katana, and that would be if I needed something that was if I needed like some volume on a stage.
Yeah.
And it had to be like low volume. I think the Katana does a really good job at that. I think that's the only thing about valve amps. Valve amps don't do that. You've got to turn up a valve amp to make it sound any good. We've done loads of videos on that.
Yeah.
So I'd use a Katana. It depends if it's a quiet stage, I might use a Katana. Although probably what I'd do, I would just take something like Tonex pedal and just use that. So yes, I'd use Tonex over amps for the versatility on stage. Probably not for recording because you can do so much with a valve amp, and I think it's nice to record the valve amp. Yeah, so for live, yes. For recordings, I probably always, if I could mic up a valve amp, I would.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always.
Jamie Humphries.
Jamie Humphries. There we are. Found it.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Pleasant, isn't it? Oops, wrong way. You can't tell where the guitar starts and the case finishes.
I like that a lot.
Lovely neck. Yeah.
They do a good job on those, don't they? They do a good job.
Gorgeous.
That's the only thing for me. And I know they can't call it the old, the Eddie Van Halen model anymore, but it's such a shame that they've got that massive axis. I think that the axis on the headstock is just ugly.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? But he's well worth a follow, both on Instagram and YouTube. He does some cracking videos as well. He's a hell of a player.
Oh yeah, he's really good. Yes, he's very good. So just to go to another
special one.
Yeah. William, thank you, mate. That's really kind of you. He says, "Hi, Paul and Greg. Question to Paul: have you heard the latest solo album of Steve Lukather?" I haven't yet.
I haven't yet. Put one out, but I'm going to download it right now.
Nice.
I have listened to so little music of late. Yeah, I feel as though I'm missing out. So, Steve, Luke, I'll have a listen to that tomorrow. I've got some time. I've got to drive over to Felix store tomorrow to pick up an acoustic that Mr. Gunn has fixed for me. So that'll be a bit of fun. And now I've got something to listen to. There we are.
There
Good.
We go.
And a question for myself. Have you seen Nuno live? Yes, I have. It was 2017, I think, when they did the Pornography tour anniversary. And I saw them at the Forum in North London. And it was essentially a religious experience for me. That album was the one that I listened to on repeat and got the tab book for. Shockingly bad tab book, as I recall. But that's essentially how I learned to play half decent rock guitar, was just kind of pawing away like a ham-fisted idiot at the intricate beauty that Nuno creates. So yeah, he that was one of my gigging highlights, to be 30 feet away from him while he's just producing that stuff. Not perfect. And then, they wheel the keyboard out in the middle of the evening, and he just sits down and does those jazz chords on When I First Met You as well, and then gets the N4 back on. Wonderful, wonderful. Hoping to see them in London on the 4th of December as well.
Nice.
Thanks for the question, Willie. Yeah. Good man. Have you ever seen him?
I haven't. No, I've never seen it. I've never seen him. I think he's astonishing, man. Amazing guitar.
Yeah.
That's it.
There we are. Small question. I want to know, between 100 and 6.4K, which are the highs and which are the lows and mids in an equalizer pedal. Over to you, Mr. Drew.
So you can think of 100 as your low frequencies, bass frequencies. Yeah, your bottom end. Anything below that as well. I mean, 60 hertz is. So human hearing goes from 20 hertz, or I should say childhood hearing goes from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So that's bottom frequency being 20 hertz, top frequency being 20 kilohertz. So 100 is your bottom frequency, your bass frequencies, the kick of a bass drum, that sort of thing. The actual thing that hits you in the chest. 6.4K is quite high for a guitar speaker. Like most guitar speakers roll off about 4.5K. So your guitar sound, even though it's still there, but it's all the fizz is more around the top end, like 6.4K. But a guitar speaker, it does this. It rolls off at the bottom end and rolls off at the top end. So your guitar sound is all of this sort of mid-range tone. I mean, I can keep going into it. I'm going to bore people to death.
We'll just touch on roughly 700 mids tube screamer, and I think you've covered the main food groups then, haven't you?
Yeah. So your mid frequencies, so mid frequencies is anything from, say, like 500 hertz up to probably 3.5K. So you can think of that, your low mids and your high mids. but a tube screamer tends to push around sort of 700 hertz, which is that sort of frequency that can push things to the front of a mix.
Yeah. Well, I'm mentioning that because I'm assuming that it is another fellow guitarist in our midst asking the question.
Yeah.
As a little aside, you could go on the Celestion website, and they for each of their speakers have got a graph which shows you exactly the curves that Paul's just articulated from one speaker to the next. So if you want a visual representation, that's an easy way of seeing what's what there.
Yep. Mendel. This is Paul. Are you still okay? Are you still? Oh, sorry, mate. No, this is your job. Oh, I'm terrible.
Are you still using your ISO cab? I think you're going to find it difficult on account of having flogged the bugger, aren't you? Or did you get another one?
I flogged the ISO cab. I flogged my first Grossman cab, and then I bought another one, and then I flogged that as well because I wasn't using it.
So, and one went to Jivey, didn't it? Was that the first one or the second one?
Jivey's got my first one. Yeah.
Right. And then you thought, oh yeah, it sounds good when he uses it. I'll have another one. And now you've got rid of it again.
Yeah, because I mean, I compared it against the sort of sounds that I get out of either by miking up a. Okay, I should probably explain this. So for me, you've got to run the guitar amp, a valve guitar amp. You've got to run it hot. It's got to be loud. So you stick if you stick an attenuator in front of it, you can get the volume down. Now, if you put a microphone in front of a normal guitar speaker, it's great. It sounds great. Even at low volumes, if you're running that guitar amp loud, but you're attenuating it down, it still sounds great coming out of a guitar speaker. To me, it sounds really good. That's the way that I like to do stuff. I also like to use stuff like the Two Notes Torpedo Studio. And that sounds great as well. So the sounds that I was getting out of that sounded better than a contained, to me, a speaker with a lid on it, with all of these frequencies bouncing around the cab, going into the microphone, not being released everywhere, and everything's getting contained. And it just, there were so many sort of, to me, phasey frequencies that I didn't like.
Right.
So you have to, it takes, but the way it goes.
The second half of that, then, presumably would like to hear your thoughts on IRs versus James's studio and where the ISO cab fits today. So IRs, you obviously are a big proponent of this, given Fractal and Tonex.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I would, and I'd use IRs all the time. It's really to go to James's house. It's really nice to go to James's house and, crank up an amp with his 4x12.
Yeah.
Even though I can't do that here.
Mental.
Yeah, it looks rubbish. But I can't do that here. I've got no want to do that here.
You've got enough
if I had
other viable options, though, haven't you, with all your studio gear?
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. If even sometimes I've been in like big studios and been doing recordings, and I'll take along an attenuator or a load box, and I'll end up still using that because I still prefer the sound of it, because maybe I'm just so used to it.
Yeah. Perhaps that's it. I'm just an old Luddite. Any opportunity to crank up a load of valves, I'm there.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You go on stage. If you go on stage and you've got an amp, it's great. It's great. But is it great? To me, I would rather get a great mix in my ears, using in-ears, than I would having a guitar amp behind me, flapping my trouser legs, and me knowing that the sound that's going in my ears is exactly what people out front.
Yeah,
that to me, just like I know it's great, and then I don't know if the engineer that's stuck a mic on my guitar cab, it might sound great to me, because guitar speaker 6 foot away from a person sounds very different to a guitar speaker with a microphone, as we were just talking about.
Sure.
Right up against the cab. It's completely different. It's completely different. And me, if I can manipulate that sound to sound exactly how I want it, that's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah. Do you trust the front of house person to reproduce what you've articulated to them through the PA?
Yeah, rarely, because
Yeah,
they don't care whether it sounds good. They just want to get like, I
get
mean,
it done,
if
get
it's
out.
yeah. They just, they all they care about kick drum, snare drum, vocals. Everything else is filler.
Also ran. Yeah.
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 There we go.
David, good evening. Lots of single-ply telly scratch plates lift. Interesting. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not legit.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. But this is a custom shop. Something wasn't right to me. Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect. Yes, and yes, it's. I've had scratch plates on like no casters where you haven't got the extra screw, and you can get your fingers underneath and you can pull it a little bit. But this was like, it was something wasn't right. So maybe the scratch plate had been replaced. I don't know.
Yeah.
For a cheap scratch plate, but something wasn't right about it.
The next comment's
Double-sided.
pretty tasty though.
Yeah.
Well batted, Dave.
Yeah, double-sided. It would. Yes, it would do. Of course, it would. But if you're paying for a Fender custom shop guitar, if you're spending $4,000 on a guitar, $4,000 plus on a guitar, you shouldn't have to put double-sided.
I think perhaps Dave is poking fun. Onwards.
Next one.
Benji, Paul, have you had a go on the Revolt amp yet?
No.
And why don't Two Notes send you stuff, given that you waffle on about them every other video and use their stuff and sing from the rooftops about it?
They did for a while. They sent a couple of things, or they sent one thing. The Cab M Plus, I think they sent.
Yeah,
they said we did a review on that, and then I don't know. I think James knows the rep quite well. I think or the UK guy from, which might be why we don't get sent stuff, because James might have upset him in the past.
He's got form.
Yeah, but no, I haven't tried it yet. I've heard good things. The only thing that really confuses me, it's got like a analog speaker sim on it, and Two Notes are known for their IR, their IR type technology. I don't get why they didn't use that, but anyway.
Funky Bass. I bought a 15-year-old Aguila preamp used and emailed them about how to use the internal voltage switching. They haven't made it in years, yet they replied within a couple of days with all the info. Isn't that nice to hear? Based on how we had a bit of a depressing 5 minutes talking about Fender and another musical outlet at the start of the show, to hear that these guys are just thinking, yeah, customers, they're brilliant, we like them. Yeah, that's good to hear, Funky. Well done, mate.
Absolutely. Well done, Aguila.
Evening, Shep. Hope you're well, sir. Who is playing with emoji with me? I think everybody's getting on the bandwagon now. Let's see on the next couple. Steve Cassidy guitar, your preferred fretball radius, and to all a big smiley face.
9.5 all day long. All day long.
You may or may not have seen the vintage V6 Icon video, which I did recently. That's got a 10 radius on it. It just feels incredibly flat. It's astounding the difference. Yeah, astounding the difference that it makes compared to bog standard Strat type neck or Telly type neck that I'm used to. It was a really, really different feel. Perfectly nice, lots of room to play with, but it's amazing how ever so slight difference makes a big old difference.
That's mad, because a Les Paul's 12, isn't it?
God, I don't know. Hang on.
I think a Les Paul's 12.
Let's ask the Google.
But 9.5 for me all day long. Should I go on to the next question? What are you looking at? I'll do the next question while we're doing it. Steve says also hello, you all, and to you, mate.
12,
Max says
yeah,
hello, boys
12.
and boys. 12, yeah, it's a 12.
Mm.
Max says hello, boys and boys. Mate, are you missing out the 2.5%?
It's gone up to 2.5. Excellent, excellent.
And no, I think it's 2.4.
Okay. Hello, Max. RJB, have you tried the 5150 amp yet? Appreciate thoughts. Love the channel. Thank you very much for that. Have you had a go on a 5150?
Oh, a long time ago.
So is there a
I'm
new
sure
version that's
I've
come
had
out?
to go a long time ago. Huh? No. EVH have brought out a new amp.
Oh, right. I wonder if that's the one that he means then.
Maybe. So that one there, they brought out the small one with a 10-inch speaker, which to me is like, what is going on there?
Point. Yeah.
That's a no. That's, if Eddie was alive, he'd be going no,
kicking some
and
proverbial.
yeah, and they brought out 12-inch, slightly higher powered one with 12-inch on it. So if it's that, it's about near. I haven't.
Yeah.
You?
Nope, not going anywhere near it. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I've got that JCM 900 that has got more filth than I'm ever going to need. I'm just not a metal player. Hard rock's as close as I ever get. And as I was saying earlier, I've just got hold of that tweed, so I'm way down that rabbit hole for the next however long until the owner asks for it back, and I say I don't know where it is. What amplifier? Evening, David. Hope you're okay, mate.
What's he got there? That's nice. It's got a rosewood neck on that. Nice, isn't it? Look at that.
Is that just the angle of the picture, or is the scratch plate slightly unusual? I think it might just be the picture.
What's going on there. I don't know.
We need to get some way of getting bigger pictures, don't we? Although I suppose we're opening it up to the trolls then, aren't we? Anyway. Keisha, is this Kev? I don't know. Keith, Kevin. Just K.
Could just be K.
Could just be K. Good evening to you, whatever your first name is, sir. I hope you did not sell your Paisley Strat. The guitar is too cool and sounds great. No, I think that one's safe, isn't it?
It's
just there.
Here it is.
Not going anywhere fast.
No, that's not going anywhere, that thing. No, that's too big. I tell you why, because it's too much of a special guitar, because it was the NAMM. That's the one that they displayed at NAMM. It's really great, that guitar. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll say that. And, well, unless someone offers me like a 1960s Strat for it, then
it's in the realms of part of the pension plan, that guitar, isn't it?
Yeah,
allowing for the kind of aura around it, as it were.
Yeah, I think it's worth hanging on to.
Max.
Wow.
Max, Steve, 16-inch plus. I can't remember what Steve was asking. I'm gonna have to go back through. Hang on.
I think
preferred fretboard radius. Do we assume from this that Max is a bass player then?
16 radius. That is.
Oh, there are guitars on that stand, aren't there?
What's that?
There are guitars on the stand.
Max has got into his Ibanez and stuff, I think.
Right. 9.5. 9.5 for me, by the way. Also my preferred fretboard radius. Oi. Well done, Steve. Funky. I have a Fender hand-wired Tweed Deluxe with Celestian Alnico Blue 2. It's my favourite amp. I reckon Mr. Drew could be converted from the Celestia with the Celestian instead of the Jensen. Video idea. Defo.
Could be.
Paul, James and I are meeting up at the... Should we say this? Or are you fearful of being swamped by your loving public?
I don't think there's any chance of that.
We're all going to the Brighton Guitar Show on the 15th, 16th. In the next
Saturday.
couple of weeks.
Saturday coming.
It's the Sunday, isn't it? It's the Sunday.
Is it a Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's a Sunday then.
Anyway, we'll be there. If there's any black, if there's a means whereby if I chuck that amplifier in the back of the car, we could knock a video out, but I don't know where we'd do it.
I don't think we're going to get a chance to.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want the risk of that getting broken into.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Next time Paul's up at James's gaff, I'll see if I can hot tail it down there with that thing in tow, Funky, and just see if see if we can convert him. But it's so new that I'm still playing that speaker in. The guy that bought it essentially bought it as an expensive thing to have sat in his music room. It's barely been switched on, so I think I've put. I'd be amazed if it had been used for 5 hours before I got my hands on it, and I've since put about 20 hours on it. So yeah, I'm breaking it in. I'll carry on doing that and then let Paul have a little
Nice
razz through it and see what's what. Dave's another 9.5 man. I'm feeling very inadequate all of a sudden. Max, I get to see Lee on Friday playing same festival but different days. That's brilliant.
Oh,
Good
nice
stuff. Whereabouts
nice.
is that, Lee? Max, rather. And where's Lee as well? What's going on? I haven't seen
Where's
him
Lee?
yet. Yeah. Is he in?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what he's doing today, actually.
Tony. Great day spent with my guitar hero and legend, Doyle Dukes. He actually plays his signature guitars. As I was helping him pack up, he said, "Here, I want you to have my amplifier." Good Lord, I'm not surprised you were speechless.
Nice.
What a terrific thing.
Who's Doyle Dykes? Do you know?
I've
Doyle
never
Dykes?
heard of him. No. Let's see what Spotify tells us. But what a nice thing to do.
Yeah. And what amp did he give you, Tony? That's great.
Yeah. What did you land in the deal? What was your score? Doyle.
No, I'm going to send. I'm going to send. I'll send a quick message to Mrs.
Lee.
Drew.
Oh right.
No.
Ask for a refreshed gin and tonic.
Well, I need some water.
Yeah. I can't see Doyle Dukes on Spotify, sadly. There we go. The next.
Let us know what amp he gave you though, because I'm quite intrigued by that.
Yeah. And Kay is asking, Funky. Yes, if it's anything like the one that I've got my grubby little mitts on, it is going to sound tremendous.
I'm intrigued now.
Mate, they're brilliant.
Are they?
Have you ever had a tweed?
I mean, I've gone through enough tweeds. I did some videos on the Lazy J.
Oh, the Lazy J ones, yeah.
Jesse and they're quite high end boutique.
Yeah, they're punchy, aren't they? Mm.
Yeah, and I don't like the way they break up. To me, I don't like the way they fart when they break up. They literally they just fart.
There we are.
Anyway,
right, on to Max. Totally with Paul on P90s, absolutely the best thing ever in the neck position. The BFG was my favourite long player. Had humbucker bridge and P90 neck.
Always wanted
Not
a BFG.
Long player, Les Paul. I do apologise.
Yeah, always wanted a BFG. It's basically the I think Gary Moore endorsed them for a while. They're basically it was just basically a bare. It had like a maple top on it, like quite a nice maple top,
but no flame.
No, it had a flame, but they weren't finished. They were completely sort of bare.
Yeah.
And humbucker and P90, great,
tasty. Girth Brooks, thanks for all the katana content.
A pleasure, Girth.
Max, in a crappy use a Captor X or equivalent gizmo of choice. I think that's in answer to the question from earlier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Play.
Nabs.
But this double tap I'm going to say humbucker, is low output, so it matches the single coils a bit better, I think.
It's not about output for me. It's not about output. It's more about the sound. If it's just you set an amp up for me, you set an amp up with single coils, you set an amp up for humbuckers, and it's a different. It's like you know, set an amp up for a Strat. and then pick up a Les Paul and go and plug that amp, plug that guitar into the amp, you'll end up going, oh God, it sounds horrible, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Set an amp up for a Les Paul and then plug it straight, and you go, what's this thing? What's going on? Different. It's a different sound for me.
Different beast.
It is a different beastie. I'm lost where we are. Okay.
Distant Son.
Matt's in the house.
Good evening. I hope everyone is well and having a good week so far. Same to you, Matt.
And to you, Matt. Max says
SM7. It's a jolly handy bit of kit anyway. Just buy one. Wise words. Wise words.
Yeah, absolutely.
David, how are you? I got to play 4th of July celebration yesterday. I bought out the Twin and Messer, all set, cue lightning and lightning and thunderstorm. When loading out, I wanted to get online and buy a Tone X.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's the weight of the flying things. That 900 sits at the bottom of the pile, literally on the other side of this wall. It goes JCM 900, the Fender Reverb Deluxe 2, then the Twin, then the little the Twin, the Tweed, then the Katana head on top of it. I never want to have to move that 900 again. I'm thinking about leaving it in the price of the house if we ever move.
Awesome.
Just crazy heavy.
Lone Star. That's who was that was Michael.
There we are.
That was Michael.
Yeah.
Briggs. Again,
that was that song, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, thanks, guys. Just to say, if any chance, if you're enjoying this, just give us a like. It really does help. As I've said earlier in the show, YouTube are stinging us at the moment for not having enough likes and that sort of stuff. Next one.
Johnny Love. Eric Clapton played on The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, Roger Waters' album. Great album. I don't know the vintage of said album, but presumably that was the one that resulted in him going on tour with Rodgers in the first place. Because I think it was the following tour where they just decided, nah, I'm not really feeling this. And off he went. Hence Mr. Stapley filling some pretty large shoes.
I imagine he's probably quite hard to work for.
I rather suspect so as well. I watched most of the Dave Kilminster rig rundown for Guitar Interactive today, whilst pottering about doing all manner of other menial household tasks. And yeah, I got the impression that it's very much Dave's way, Roger's way, or the highway.
Yeah.
But hey, he's paying the bills, so
absolutely.
Yeah. Rank and file get to do what they're told. Steve agrees. John Cordy is a ridiculously tasty player.
Sure is.
And Kay's also bringing the love rather. He's wonderful, isn't he? And seems to have got to a level where he's starting to rub shoulders with the YouTube glitterati now, in that he's referencing Keith from 5 Watt Worlds as one of his pals. Amongst other people, so good for him. I'm glad that he's managing to find a happy medium between knocking out videos on the internet with his clothes on, and also still being able to get out and gig. Good for him.
Yeah, well played. I mean, he's a great player. I love it.
I love it as well. Okay, yeah, but AFL Australian football and their rugby are great. Fair enough.
Go.
Yep. David Stuart Bull. Stuart.
I don't know. Stuart Bull
rings bells as well. Music man artist you mentioned. It wasn't. We've established it was Jamie. Yeah, Steve got it for us, Dave. But I am interested to know who Stuart Bull is now. Blimey, how do you go about pronouncing that then? Bioterror. There we go. John Cody is a great player, but I really don't like that he has 3 or 4 minute jams at the beginning of his videos and he doesn't care to timestamp them. Annoying as it gets. And evening, gents. Well, look, Bioterror, here's a little tip if you don't know it already. If you double tap your screen on your iPad or phone, it will go forward 10 seconds. If you triple tap it, it'll go forward 20 seconds. Or just use the slider bar, mate. And if it annoys you that much, just don't watch it.
I sort of get it. I understand. I would rather, there's some people that want to watch videos on someone that can play as well as him. You want to watch him play really well, which he does.
Mm.
And there's some people that want to know the facts about the piece of equipment and his opinion on the piece of equipment that he's reviewing or whatever. And yeah, you're gonna get people that if he didn't do that at the beginning, you get people that complain and vice versa.
Yeah.
No one's ever it's
Not going to please all the people all the time. Eh?
absolutely, and that's what makes it that's what makes the world go around, isn't it? So
Indeed.
everyone's different. Here we go.
Funky Man. I saw a hilarious piece of news recently. Bandai, a Japanese toy company, have made a Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity music video JK figure and set with movable hands, etc. I ordered it. Brilliant. You'll have to come on when it arrives, Funky, and show the clan what it looks like. Sounds like a bit of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm well up for getting one of them as well.
Jonathan
hold on a second. Now let's go back a sec. How mad is that? So is this an old thing or is this something they've just made?
No idea.
He said have made, which means as Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity, does that stand the test of time that a company can then go, well, let's now make a figure.
I wonder if Jamiroquai remain absolutely massive in Japan. Are they still proverbially big in Japan? Who knows?
Yeah.
Michael says Jonathan of the Tone Lounge brought the TWA War Excidizer to my attention. What a great pedal!
Don't know that.
Nor I. Is that the one that God, what's he called? The Dutch guy, Sasha. Just did a review of. Has it got fuzz built into it? Wah plus fuzz all in one go. No, I don't know that. Perhaps that's the news and we've missed it.
Maybe.
John Cordy is the Merlin of Helix patches. He does seem to squeeze every ounce out of that little box, doesn't he? Mark's gas station. Good evening. Howdy, folks. How are you, Mark? Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Okay,
remember the
purple people?
Do you remember that? I used to have one of them.
No.
It was a toy. It was basically a toy that back in the 80s, I guess. And it was like this purple Pete, and he used to eat things. It's a stupid thing. Anyway.
Kesha, hi all. Hello, Kesha. Hope you're well.
Hi, Kesha.
And Steve was at the very same gig, and he has his tickets for Glasgow in October. Yeah, good for you, mate. Good for you. If money were no object, I'd just follow him around the globe and watch him every night. Hollywood actress says 2017 pornography tour. I was crazy enough to hang around and meet meeting them outside as they got onto the tour bus. They hung around for like 20 minutes. Then driver said, "Time up," or "Will." Yeah, fair play. That must have been good fun. Or we'll miss the ferry to France. There we go. Biff in Bridge. Have you tried talcum on your head to cut down reflections? Oh, mate, I apologise if you're having to watch this in sunglasses, Biffin. At least it's stereo. It's not as bad as the reflection of Paul's studio light on his TV behind him.
It's not TV, it's actual picture frame. Yeah, that wasn't good placement, was it? The thing is, I don't care about stuff like that. Like if we're not doing a fashion channel, if there's light bouncing off my big bald head, it's bouncing off my big bald head. Like
it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything with that, are you? Anyway.
Mitch, I'm looking for an affordable, humbucker T-shape. All right, Telecaster shape guitar with a bit of punch. Any recommendations? Cheers, Mitch.
Depends what affordable is.
Say again?
Depends what affordable is. It depends what affordable is to
Yeah. Is there an SE version of that not Telecaster that PRS bought out a week ago yet?
Not yet. Will be. There will be.
Did Music Man do a cheap?
No, not Telecaster.
Not yeah.
I think affordable Harley Benton do them. And
sure enough.
We've been quite impressed. Been quite impressed with the Harley Bentons. Squire, there's an HH Squire or was an HH Squire. I don't know if they still do it. If you got more money, you want to get something second hand, but you're more looking 15 to £2,000. The Sir Alt T, which is great, twin humbucker, really good. Other than that, it really is. It's just, if it's under 500 quid, it's a Benton. Maybe. What's that company that Lee Jet? Maybe they do one.
Yeah, they probably do one, don't they? Yeah. Have you seen that they're bringing out some more models of famous shaped guitars?
Yeah. I haven't seen them yet. But I was told that that things are happening.
Yeah.
Great, really, Lee's guitars really good.
It's amazing the way things have changed, isn't it, from 30, 40 years ago. Centre wheelchair pillow. Drove to Aspen last weekend, bought a tiny, this is going to be, oh no, I thought it was going to, starting off with a gig there, bought a tiny 8-inch combo and a $50 multi-effects pedal to play in the hotel during downtime. Had a blast with it. What, if anything, do you bring as a vacation travel rig? You'd be on your Boss headphones, wouldn't you?
Yeah, those the Boss Wazza Air headphones.
Yeah,
they're brilliant. They're really good.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Prior to getting my mitts on a Katana head, because it's got a speaker in it, I would take the, what was it called? The Positive Grid thing. What was that called? You know, the one that James had. You had one as well, didn't you?
Spark.
Yeah, the Spark. And before that, it was a little bit more elaborate. I'd take the TC Helicon Voice Live 3 and a little full range flat response speaker.
Nice.
So, multi effects, reasonable at the time, amp models or, Sims, and built-in looper, so I could sit and play with myself in a hotel room of an evening and not offend anybody.
Nasty. Martin Collier.
Guitar prices seem low at the moment. Got Epiphone Masterbuilt J45, 250 quid.
Nice.
Blimey. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, well, you must think that there's, since COVID, where sales grew, there's got to be a glut of guitars out there that are for sale.
Mm-hmm.
There must be, because people bought them thinking, "Oh, I'll learn to play guitar over COVID," and probably didn't get on.
Exactly like that vintage Les Paul copy that I picked up. They're like fat into 400 quid out the shop at the moment, but I picked it up for 150 quid on eBay, and it barely touched, barely a note on it. Because some, like you say, some geezers obviously thought, right, I've got a bit of time on my Jack Jones whilst the COVID's going off. How hard can this guitar game be? Turns out it's quite hard.
I tell you what, should we stop there for a second?
Yeah,
and go to news. Not that there's a lot of news, but there's a little bit of news. So let's do that. Yes. Let me share screen. I'm going to do the entire screen because you need to show me how to do it, but let's do this. There we go. Cornerstone Coliseum, Blues Breaker and a Klon dual overdrive. Great. Cornerstone stuff's fantastic. I've got the Cornerstone. No, I haven't.
Gladiator? No, you've got a duelist, haven't you?
I have got a duelist. That's on my board at the moment, actually. I put that on my board. And I've got, I haven't got any Cornerstone stuff. Why not? Looks good.
Yes. Good. Did they? I think the first noises I heard about this were either when Nam was all the buzz, or alternatively had Professor Mick Taylor, I should say, of That Pedal Show mentioned it in passing during one of their Q&As.
Professor? He's not a professor, is he?
He's not an actual professor, but I think I think of him as a tone professor, and I've learned so much from the likes of him, Steinhardt, you. The knowledge that I've gained in the last 10 years watching the internet compared to everything that I picked up the ensuing 20 or preceding 20 years, I should say. It's just, it's astounding. So yeah, I
Oh,
think as those boys as teachers.
yeah, they do
But
do a
yeah,
great job.
this thing, yeah. I mean, if it's cornerstone, it's gonna sound like the Mutt's proverbials, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
and it's the two obvious ones. I wonder if it would make for a good Rats video to A/B this against the one that Pete Thorne's got his on his board at the minute. I can't remember what model that is. It's not cornerstone though.
Okay.
But that's the same thing. It's the Clan and a Blues Breaker. Um, and he used that for his classic rock show gigs.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, you know, it's made it onto his board. It's tasty. Anything by Cornerstones is tasty. So that'd be a good AB, wouldn't it?
Not cheap. 389 of your finest euro.
Mm.
Oof. And the
Well,
other thing is the new Thorpe Effects ER2 Univibe. Hendrix on
yes.
steroids, apparently.
Yes, this
Nice.
does look tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Have you got any Thorpe stuff?
yeah, I've got a Peacekeeper, one of the original
Mm.
Peacekeepers.
Nice.
The big one. It's a
Mm.
big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it isn't very pedalboard friendly, but it sounds awesome,
Mega.
and
Yeah.
it's like it's a clon. It sounds better than a clon to my ears, but
Witchcraft,
it
you know, they'll burn you if you keep talking like that. If it's not in the strange box with, you know,
yeah,
weird
it's really
scripts
good.
on
They're
it,
really good.
then
He does makes great. He makes great pedals.
yeah.
Um,
And seems to be
and
a
it just
thoroughly nice chap.
yes, absolutely.
And he's going to be at Brighton as well on the day that we're there.
Is he?
Um,
Oh,
he's
interesting.
doing a Q&A. So
Oh,
yeah, I have to elbow our way to the front for that. Although
nice.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure James
absolutely.
will be able to sit still that long, but I certainly will.
Here we go. Let me stop screen. There we go. So that's literally the news. There's some more things coming out tomorrow. So
Yes.
we can put that in next week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right. Let's push on. Kesha, what's
what
the best way to make a kazoo for live performance? I would suggest if you put the kazoo in the wheelie bin first,
in the where first?
in the wheelie bin, and then keep the
Yeah,
microphone on the stage, that would be the
yeah,
best way to make a kazoo for a live performance.
yeah.
I
I think
not,
from great distance, and I
yeah,
think from like a great distance, like I don't know, a couple of miles or something.
hmm yeah,
I
yeah,
think that.
maybe, yeah. Put the kazoo in your own wheelie bin and then go to the gig.
So
David,
it,
12-inch, way, misses, all the way for me.
no.
Do it again. Even though I'm a Fender man. Thomas, could you, this sounds like a Dr. Seuss, could you put a Tonex through a katana? Why would you need to do that?
Well, I guess if you wanted to, yes, you could. Okay, say that you wanted to use the sound of an amp, but you wanted it to come through. You need the volume for stage use. Yeah. So I would, if you're going to do that, you need to get like the Katana 100, which has got an
Right.
effects loop, and then
Yeah.
so you're completely bypassing the Katana's
Front
preamp
end.
section, front end.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And you're going in the back end, and then you could. That probably wouldn't be a bad way. You need to turn the speaker modeling off, and then
Mm.
you could use the reverb, delays, and that sort of stuff on the Katana. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I suppose that would, wouldn't it? I was thinking, how would you get past the amp sim? But like you said, just use the effects loop. Tick a box, wouldn't it? And then
Yeah,
in Tone Studio, you can move where the loop comes back in, so you can have all the
yeah,
effects that you want after it, can't you?
yeah.
Bingo. Go for that, Thomas.
Oh, nice.
Keisha,
K-sharp.
I got a 20-degree radius on a Steinberg. Is it Salem or Salon? Really flat it is. Mm,
That is flat. That is so flat.
as a pancake. Mm.
I mean, that is like, I mean, that's only made, that's made for one thing. Widdly, widdly, widdly.
Rolling bread.
Rolling bread, yeah. Max.
Max. He's probably practicing before Friday's gig. Good point. He's doing 2 sets two sets in different acts. I'm playing the Saturday. Prog for Pert, Abingdon, Oxford way. Right, everybody get to Oxford on Saturday and Friday, actually, if Lee's on Friday.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
nice. Matt, this is
Matt's
Sun.
back. Sent a couple of super chats. Messages didn't show, but the 10 quid should be with you, as it's not in my bank account anymore. Great shows out. Well, look, there's the applause. Thank you, Matt.
How strange is that?
I don't
I
understand
reckon.
why that hasn't appeared.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. That's very kind of you, mate. No, it hasn't. It hasn't come up here. I tell you what you need to do is keep sending it.
Yeah,
Just keep sending them, and just don't
on
stop.
repeat. Yeah, just keep sending them until they appear, and then we'll know they've arrived.
That's it. Which hopefully will be in a few weeks.
And I should point out, dear viewer, that I'm literally just sitting in because it's nice to have a yarn with my mate Paul. I don't get to see any of the funds from the studio rats, so you're not donating to me. Don't worry. It's going to the official end, the official bank account. Don't worry.
It'll be there to buy a beer on the 15th. Don't worry about that.
Lovely stuff, Paul. Sorry if already asked, but when is the new Tonex pack coming out? I was going to ask you about this, Paul, because last week it was we've got some news. We'll be able to tell you soon. Is it as you were? No.
Sorry. So still can't say anything, but
Mhm.
there is literally we've done about 100 captures of. So there's a few different packs coming out, and they will be coming out, I think, about the 20th of July. It's around that sort of time, but I can't say any more than that at the moment because it coincides with something else that I think will be known about before that date.
I will just ratchet it up ever so slightly more, Paul, and indeed everybody else. Pretty much every time I've spoken to Paul or James over the last fortnight, 3 weeks, all they've been doing in the background is making their machines work on producing Tonex captures. They are putting all the hours that God sends into creating some very, very good sounding stuff. So it'll be worth the wait when it finally arrives, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you. So we've got loads of stuff. There's a whole new matchless pack coming out with the independents with different pedals in front of it and stuff. And James has done it with. Well, I mean, we've done like Marshalls, we've done Vox stuff, we've done the matchless. Obviously, we've done the Buddhas, we've done Fender amps. There's loads of stuff coming out, like
And
literally
loads of
loads
stuff
of
with
it.
pedals in front as well, because I know that James has been using the blues driver that I got him in front of
Yeah.
some of them.
Oh,
So there's
great.
there's some really good sounds.
Good.
Don't you won't be underwhelmed in any way, shape, or form. People, get your money saved up and ready to go when it gets released.
Excellent.
Martina, see you the 15th on the Saturday. And I
Oh, nice.
wonder then if I've got the wrong blooming day.
I think so. I think it's a Saturday.
Man alive, that might cause a bit of bother.
It is a Saturday. It's definitely a Saturday. It's definitely a Saturday. Oh, don't! You're not letting us down.
Guitar
You promised now.
show. Brighton Guitar Show. This must make for good viewing, the internet, watching a
Oh,
bloke look up something on his phone. And the interweb's going slow, or is it their website?
I tell you what. You deal with that. I'll deal with this.
It
Tony
is,
Davis. Cool.
starts on Saturday the 15th. I thought we'd agreed to go on the Sunday.
Oh, is it on Sunday as well?
Well, it starts on the 15th. Hang on.
I don't think. I think it's one
Oh,
day. I
no.
think it's
Yeah, it is one day. That might be awkward with her indoors.
sort that out. Sort that
Yeah,
out.
have
Okay,
to do
Tony
some
says, "Oh, it was his
yeah.
Orange Crush Acoustic 30. He plays 2 amps in small venues. He has
Nice. The
headlined
Opry.
the.
Bloody
Oh,
hell.
nice. Played with Chet Atkins, Roy Clark, and other greats, and has his signature guitars with Godin, Taylor, and Guild. Nice.
Tasty. Very
There we go.
tasty. Nice. Nectarius, what's up, y'all? Where my dog James Ivy at? I've been watching Snoop Dogg YouTube shorts. Fair enough. I think we're allowed to say where James is, aren't we? I think that's under
Yeah, I
embargo,
guess
is it?
I don't.
He's made mention for the last couple of weeks of doing a George Michael and Wham tribute act, and tonight is the full band call with vocals. Ahead of the gig on, I think it's Saturday, isn't it? The gig.
I Kelly, actually.
Yeah, so he's there getting his wham on tonight. So apologies, Nectarius. I'm sure normal service will be resumed in a week. Hollywood's back. Interesting comment on Cordy. Whether playing first or talk first. Is that whether to play first or talk first? These days, I want to hear discussion, talk style radio. Maybe I'm getting off. You and me both, Hollywood. Yeah, that's
I'm
why I
with you
listen
on
to
there.
long form stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like listening to I sometimes because you know, like you can literally watch guitar players all day long on YouTube if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And
Just gonna shut this door.
sometimes I think people's opinion is more interesting to me because than constant playing. But John, John is a pleasure to listen to without a doubt.
Definitely. Yeah. Wonderful talent. Old Jackson JTX. I wonder if Max is referring to my pointy Jackson thing. It was a Dinky Junior from about 93 or 94. I worked in a music shop all summer. And at the end, I treated myself to this guitar, which should have been on the shelves in the shop for the entire summer, but I kept it in the back because I knew that I wanted it. I wanted a reverse headstock, some sort of Floyd Rose, 2-octave neck. Basically, I wanted to be Steve Vai and Nuno Bettencourt, and I didn't make it sound like either of them. But anyway. Max, another Spark travel rig. I actually gigged with, good Lord. Took some work to get it to sound okay, but loads of compliments on tone from audience. Did you use one of those Bluetooth foot switcher things like Paul had for a while in order to make that work? Otherwise, were you literally just stood there like pressing your patch 1, patch 2 in between and then getting back to playing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Intriguing. Fair enough. Michael, DSL 1 and Ridge 5C both Origin, sorry, 5C both 8-inch sound okay to my ear. Fair enough.
It's all beauty's in the eye of the beholder and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. David, it's a 1986 Tokai I've had since new. Brilliant. Originally a humbucker. I've swapped it out for 3 single coil noiseless Damasio Area 5861s. I had to change a replacement pick guard to fit a Tokai is non-standard. I see.
Oh, nice. It looks like a dark neck, doesn't it? It looks like a rosewood neck on it.
Yeah. Hollywood. Affordable Harley jet guitar Sire, maybe second-hand Chapman, or yes, Squire Cabronita. That's a good call, isn't it?
But that's like TV Jones. They're like Filtrons, the Cabronita, the Carbonita. And it is a Cabronita. It's not a Carbonita, is it? Unless that's the Squire one. Unless they called it.
Not sure. What about just getting a like a cheap Fender and putting stacked humbuckers in it if you want humbuckers?
Your internet's a bit. Is it me or is it you that keeps cracking?
Mine. Well, both of the images that I can see on screen are crystal clear and haven't lagged for a while.
This is fun. This is. I've given my neighbour my my Wi-Fi code, so I'm wondering if they're just downloading like loads of stuff because they're waiting
at this time of night. What would they be doing?
K-Sharp.
If someone would make a dual clon monkey pedal. Bad monkey.
Funny, that'd be funny.
Good Lord. Nedamido's back. The monkey clon. The mon clon.
The monk clon.
Brilliant. Favourite Glasto band? I love the Pretenders. Paul McCartney standing at the side of the stage for the whole set. Chrissy Hyde is 71 now, and her voice still sounds fantastic. I agree with the last bit. I was quite drunk when I watched the Pretenders, but I did notice that she had a skin-coloured long sleeve top on, and I didn't notice until quite late into the set. I was like, oh yeah, she's doing that, and I wonder if she's just getting a bit self-conscious about her age and how how her arms look when she's on stage these days. Because it wasn't like it was cold down there last weekend, was it?
No.
What else did I watch? I've only watched that and Blossoms and Rick Astley performing the Smiths. That's all I've watched so far.
Oh,
But
really?
I really enjoyed that though. Um, yeah, I thought that was wonderful. People that obviously love the Smiths, um, doing a really decent job of reproducing the sound on stage. I mean, there were a lot of them on stage, but it sounded great. Have you watched much of
Yeah.
it? Because we were all in Bournemouth, weren't we, when it went off? So I wouldn't have been able to do a bit of
Yeah.
catch up action.
Yeah, I watched a bit. I watched some Elton John, and
Hmm.
yeah, no, my favourite was the War on Drugs with just
Yes.
by a
Yeah.
by a
Oh.
mile, by a mile. They were just unbelievable. I thought
Yeah.
sounded way better than anything else that came out of that. And just the mix of it was ridiculously good.
Mm. I turned my
Um,
father-in-law onto the war on
Next one,
drugs about
Gary.
3 months ago. Anyway, Gary, what we're saying? Good day, gents. Paul wanted to say I simply love that Tonix preset you have on your site. Can't believe how much that matchless Bank One tone made all of my guitars come to life. Thank you so much. There you go.
There we go. Thanks, sweetheart. Is that for me as well? Yeah. Look at this.
It does make me wonder if
Yeah.
if we shouldn't all actually just buy a matchless.
Yeah, everyone buy a matchless.
What's a Tonix? What are they going for? Is it like 400 quid?
Yeah, I think they're 400 quid.
Yeah,
But you can
400
buy the
quid.
software for less. The
Yeah,
software's like 100 and
or
something.
yeah, or just I'll just spend 5 grand on a matchless.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
We need to jump to Pet's message.
Ah, Mr. Moxie's back. He's in. He's turned up at last.
There we are. Worked for a guy today who sings bass in the choir. I sounded like a soprano next to him. He ordered me a coffee in stupidly low C2s. Fair enough. I mean, C2s is pretty low, isn't it? Trying to think if I could get to that. Yeah, I used in my younger days, I could get to a B flat down there. I used to sing bass too at the bottom end of the choir. But yeah, ordering coffees like that's pretty punchy, isn't it? Nice to hear from you, Pet, and nice to see your face rather than
Yeah, cheers, Pet.
your old man's picture.
Yeah, thanks, Pet. Much appreciated, mate. Really appreciated. Yeah, go Parent
Going
Pin.
to
We're
the
talking about
parent pin. Yeah, nice one, John.
Cheers, John.
And there's Pet again. At Distant Sun, they were great. Johnny Marr lending his chops as well. Yes, he did. Evening both. Struggling this evening. Good stuff. Yeah. We're not keeping you awake. Sorry, Pet. Yeah, Johnny Marr wandered on because he used to be in Pretenders, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he spent a while there. I thought it was really interesting seeing a bona fide guitar genius just being cool and playing the song, as opposed to the other geezer who's currently in Pretenders, who was just like a machine gun playing all of the notes, all of the effects, all of the notes. I mean, wonderful guitarist, brilliant capacity on the instrument, but I did wonder if he was perhaps playing slightly more for him in places than for the song. And then Johnny Marr came out and confirmed my suspicions. Max. Serious Kazuma cancer. Good on you, Max. Use an AKG C1000. Also doubles as a hammer. Really, really close up several times, repeatedly. Then use same on proposed player. Very good. Very good.
There we go. Aristotle's.
There we are. On classical and flamenco guitar, there is no radius at all, and it seems that people have no problem to play them still. Indeed.
Absolutely, but you don't bend on those guitars.
This is true. Although I did
So,
on my mother's one years and years ago.
yeah, we've all done it. We've all done it. Yeah. 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 No. It's very true. It's very different though, isn't it? It's very. I mean, that's wide. It's a much wider neck as well, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a good point. Gaza.
Gary, I was wondering if you find there is a big difference using a tube amp with Tonex, or if you think a full range flat response option does more justice to the amp models. I've heard mixed opinions. Interesting. I'm disappointed that Jivey got rid of the Music Man with the tube power amp section, because it would have been interesting to hear Tonex go into that, but then you're doubling up on your speaker at that point, aren't you? Because the Tonex gives you a
Yeah.
speaker representation.
Well, you don't have to. You can do it without the
Okay.
speaker model.
Hmm. But then,
Yeah, no, full range. I mean, it's meant to go into full range flat response. So that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to go straight into a desk, straight into the PA recording console, whatever you want to do, and monitor through speakers or tweeters.
yeah.
So yes, I would say FRFR all day long.
Hmm.
And they're coming out with one as well. They're coming out that they demoed it at NAMM apparently.
Okay, multimedia.
Yeah, they're coming out
Oh,
with an
right.
FRFR, which is
Cool.
going to be quite cool. Yeah, which I think is great.
Yeah. You would hope that one would be winging its way to Studio Rats Towers, wouldn't you?
It is when it's done. They've
Excellent.
already said that. Yes,
Oh,
which is
thanks,
nice.
Jim. There we are. Jim's worked it out. Pete
Cheers, Jim.
Thorne uses the unobtainium by Crazy Tube Circuits. So, yeah, the CTC versus the Cornerstone, I think, would make for a cracking lesson as an A-B comparison.
Yeah, Pete Thorne as well. How great is Pete Thorne? I think Pete Thorne's one of my favourite guitar players.
Yeah.
Just
Did you watch his product demo for the Van Halen and Boss dual
no.
digital delay? Because it's about 45 minutes. It's enormously long, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. He's just so good at doing demos and playing the guitar like a mother hubbard, isn't he?
He's brilliant.
Pete for president.
Absolutely, he's absolutely brilliant. I don't think there's anyone that does it better than him. He's so good. Funky bass, pitching driving, leather jacket, wiggling his biz butt. What's a biz butt?
I'm not sure, but I think we get the general picture. Yeah,
Everyone thinks.
yeah.
Oh, his butt.
Yeah. Oh, his butt. There we are. I have seen pictures of James when he had his long hair back in the early talent days, and I think he'd fit right in with the early Wham videos. If he still had his full flowing locks on.
Without a doubt.
Max,
Max,
yes, same foot switch. So that's how I did it with the Positive Grid Spark. Fair enough.
So
what, and then just
nice.
put a mic in front of the 4-inch speaker, I presume, or would you use the headphones out?
I think
headphones out. Yeah, I guess doable. I'm not sure I'd trust it though.
No.
Still, if you're in a pinch. Max, whole rig fits in a backpack, amp, foot switch, PSU, guitar lead and wireless kit. The guitar in a case and I'm away. Pulling the generator by hand is hard work when camping. But cool. Fair play, man. Fair play. David's back. Yes, Tokai has a rosewood neck. I still have the original Tokai HH pickguard. Fairly easy to swap back to original. Nice work. Nice work.
Bioterror.
Bio's back. Paul, what about compound radius neck? Like from 9 to 12. I love my Ibanez. Oh, God. It's the Ibanez naming convention. AZ2204Ns neck with that. Ticks all the boxes. What comes to a Strat?
I don't mind compound radius necks, but I would never choose a guitar that had one. So I would never go, it's got to have a compound radius neck. I would never. I like 9.5. I'm not a massive fan. I've had loads of guitars with compound radius necks. I haven't got any at the moment. I wouldn't ever go because I'm not that sort of player that likes the tappy stuff up the top end. I'm not like a massive flat neck fan. But
Paul,
there we go.
Is that the same question?
It was doubled up.
Pete Thorne replied to my question about working with Chris Cornell. Needless to say, my food on the hob got burnt. Yeah, too busy listening to Pete talk. Fair play, man. Fair play. Nice.
He's great. He's really, sharp, really sharp guy as well.
Yeah. Gave a great story about listening to him doing his vocal thing. Great voice. Yeah, Chris Cornell's voice was brilliant, wasn't it? God rest his soul.
unbelievable. Just such a great singer. Such a shame as well.
Mm.
Done.
You've
We're
missed
done.
2 out, mate. Oh, you've missed
Have
1
I?
out at least. Yeah. K
Where?
Sharp came back in just above Pet's last one. Sorry, below Pet's
Oh,
last one.
sorry. I don't know what happened
RJ
there. Okay.
Ronquillo and Greg Kingman are
Uh,
great at demos as well. RJ's
yes.
Ronquillo. Yeah, there we are. Yes, they are. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
All good. And
Absolutely.
yeah, there we are.
You're
Your Pete
Pete Thorne.
Thorne. Your Pete
You're
Thorne. He's
meant
basically
to
saying
be.
that you are Pete Thorne. You are the new
Oh,
Pete
you
Thorne.
are, as in he's missed out an E and an apostrophe, but no, it's all. Oh, thanks, Fad. No, definitely not. I wish I had
Mm. Yeah, I
Pete
wouldn't mind being able
Thorne's.
to play like Pete.
Yeah, I'd love to be, and I'd love to be able to play like Pete Thorne. But thank you very
That'd be
much.
nice. That would be nice.
No, he's absolutely astonishing guitar player.
Mm.
Okay, still about listening to him. Yes, we did that one, didn't we? Okay,
Mhm.
Pet, nice one, lads. Top stuff. Thanks, Pet.
Cheers, Pet. Max, this week's shopping includes a new Laney and a spare TC G Major 2. Nice work. Out of curiosity, how much did you part with? You don't have to tell us, obviously, but how much was said G Major? I'd be interested to hear what they're going for these days. Jeff saying thanks. I think we're about there, aren't we?
I think we are about there. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Actually, no. Look at the last comment there.
Hold on. I haven't got it yet.
I can't. It doesn't do it with
Yes, you
me.
can.
No, I'm
Who's it
pressing it
from?
and it's not doing it. It's from Chris Groom. It says evening all. So Chris has just arrived, everybody. So we'll wait here for
Evening,
another
Chris.
2 hours. We'll just do the whole show again for 2 hours now, all right?
Cheers, Chris. Well, you can watch it on repeat, so it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for turning up, and thanks for sticking with us two bald fellas for a couple of
Yeah.
hours.
Just before we
Waffling
leave,
on.
I forgot to say in my what have I been doing this week? On
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday in this little village that I live in East Cambridgeshire, there was the local carnival, and on the Friday night there was an under 16s karaoke um, competition that the kids wanted to get involved in, followed by the adult karaoke competition. And I was still feeling a bit kind of battle scarred from Bournemouth. So I said, okay, I'll come, fine, whatever. And we sat down in this silent marquee. And then the lass on the microphone started talking, and she was obviously struggling with all this equipment, pressing buttons, and the Wi-Fi is not working, pressing away, and then the song started and stopped, and then feedback from the mic and this thing. You can hear the voice, you can't hear the track, and the song stops. Anyway, I'm sat on my hands, and all my mates are sat around me going, "Greg, come on, just go up and help her." I said, "Look, she's been asked to do it. I'm not going to be that. Don't you know who I am?" And I'll sit here. Anyway, organizer of said carnival wanders over, has a word in this woman's shell, and then gives me the wave and says, "Can you help?" So I hopped back in the car, drove home, grabbed some gear out the living room, the garage, hot footed back down there, and just progressively started to switch out all the gear that they'd hired for my own stuff. And then as I was doing that, another guy called Phil Watts wanders over and says, "Shall I just bring my PA down?" And I've known Phil off and on for 20 years. I played at his wedding years and years ago. Um, and the reason I bring this up, other than to say that we made a karaoke work, yay us, good for the village and all that, was Phil used to play in a band with the son of Hank Marvin.
Damn.
So there we are, and he's a thoroughly nice guy, really interesting fella. He's got some good tales to tell. It'd be fun to get him on here actually one night.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little connection to Hank Marvin to kind of close out the show with a vaguely guitar related tale. There we are.
Well,
I'll
mate.
stop
Good job.
waffling now. The wine's obviously gone to my head. There we go.
Good man.
And one
Nice
last
one.
thing, please press
Yeah.
like and subscribe and all that for these two lads because they keep doing their thing for us all, don't they? Let's give them a
It
little.
does help. It really does help. Yeah. Cheers, guys. And Greg, thanks again for joining us, mate. I'll see you.
Look at
Well,
Joe Marshall's comment.
what did you say?
Look at Joe Marshall's comment.
It's no coincidence that know this goes on. He's probably talking about me, mate. I won't worry. Anyway,
I'm
yeah,
sorry for
thank.
offending you, Joe. It'll be normal service next week. Don't worry.
Nah, mate, it's always good. It's always good. Yeah, so thanks again, guys. And we will see you next week. Yeah, probably
Bye-bye,
with
everyone.
maybe with
Probably
James.
with
We'll see what happens.
Jivey. Hopefully.
Maybe. See you later. Take care. Bye.